This is Off the Court with OG. I'm your host, Kristian Charisma. This is episode 12, and on this show, like on all previous installments, we're joined by OGKINGCURT, a man of many hats, two of those being general manager and head coach of Nets Gaming Crew, last season's Eastern Conference finalist of the NBA 2K League. I'm really excited to inform everyone that this episode is brought to you by Zenny Blocks. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenny Blocks virtually clear blue blockers. It's so important to protect your eyes from the harmful blue light from your digital screens. That way you'll have less eye strain, and that leads to better sleep. And then, of course, that leads to better performance on the sticks. Check them out at zenny.com/gaming, and then follow them at Zenny Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. You can also be a part of the crew and the best fan base in the NBA 2K League in full capacity by following Nets Gaming Crew on all social platforms. Now, let's get the show started. Let's kick things off here. Episode 12 of OTC, the show dedicated to all the crew members out there, the fans of Nets Gaming Crew of the NBA 2K League. Of course, as always, we've got Kurt with us, NetsGC GM and head coach, here to give us his 2 cents on the NBA 2K League offseason that is just beginning to simmer. Kurt, you know there are aspiring 2K League players, scouts, coaches who at this point of the year, they're really trying to put their best foot forward. It's an exciting time. I know it's still early, but as someone who has, been through this cycle, through this part of the year a few times now, what are some of the things that is involved with the pre-draft process, and what's your favorite part?
Yes, it is that time of year. It's been that for probably over the last month or so. But, as an aspiring NBA 2K League pro, you definitely have to play on all the major amateur events. There's a ton of platforms to play on now. I mean, obviously, everybody knows about the WR, MPVA, and everything like that. But there's a ton of other platforms to play on. And as long as you're competing against top competition, that is the main thing that you want to seek out. You need to attack the pros, former pros, and also aspiring pros like yourself. I think if you can manage to do that and perform at a high level, you definitely get on a lot of people's radar. Now, what I'm saying to you is not guaranteed, because nothing is guaranteed at the end of the day. But you definitely want to put yourself in position to be amongst those that are striving to make the pros, or some you have trying to come back into the league. So it's stiff competition. I mean, it's not that many spots. Of course, we have one new team joining this year, and that helps. But also this year in limited roster spots, you definitely want to make sure that you can try to find your way on one of the 24 teams. And what I would recommend more than anything is show your personality. Show who you are outside of just the game. I mean, and don't be afraid to be yourself, because what I always like to tell the pros, even when they make it, is that your contract is your contract. You don't sign it with anybody else. You don't get drafted with anybody else. It's you. So you can't be afraid to show who you are and be who you are, because at the end of the day, your goal is to grab somebody's attention who holds the same position as myself. Now, to answer the second part of it, what's my favorite part is, I've been on the scene for a while now, and I've probably watched, countless of Pro-Am games and everything like that. So really for me, it's just about the content that's being created now, like seeing different sides of players, learning different things about players. Sometimes it's best for us to see different things about you than sitting down in front of the standard interview process. I think it allows us to really look at you in a different light, other than just being a player, because at the end of the day, content is not only important for yourself, but it's important for our brand as well. And I try to preach this more often than not, that once you become a part of the 2K League, whatever franchise you're fortunate enough to get drafted to, you become a part of that family as well. And we all are trying to grow together. So the league is only going into its 5th season. Some teams are going into their 5th season. Some teams are going into their 1st season. Like us at NetsGC, we're going into our 4th season. So it's still a growing process that we're slowly figuring out, but we have a long ways to go, and we need players that understand that journey and that's willing to help not only themselves grow, but to help our organization grow as well.
Yeah, I mean, making your dream come true is not if ever easy, right? It's definitely a process. I love that you brought up the content side of things. There are definitely layers to this. I feel like there are countless leagues and tournaments that are happening, both 5v5 and the Bucks Gaming holding that 3v3 tournament recently. And then you had mentioned, WR, MPBA, ADBA, the UPA leagues, the in-person Vegas tournament. I feel like with all the countless opportunities kind of popping up, it's a tough task that these prospects have to kind of put themselves through, while also trying to maintain some of their, physical and emotional health and the mental health side of things. How tricky is it for these prospects to kind of balance really putting it all out on the line and then also kind of taking care of themselves and finding time to take care of themselves?
No, that's a great question, Kristian, because at some point in life, everybody is going to hit a crossroad with anything that you're trying to accomplish. And the word that I probably use the most is sacrifice. I think even for myself or people like me that sit in the same similar position, we've all sacrificed something in order to get here. And my big brother used to tell me all the time, he said, life is about, choices and decisions, and everybody has to make them at some point in time. And for me, I sacrificed a lot in being in New York for 6 months, going away from my kids and different things of that nature. And then coming back for 6 months in Ohio. I mean, so everybody has their own story about what they're sacrificing. And it's no excuses. I mean, it's just simple as that. If you want to make a decision to make the 2K League or to go for the 2K League, you have to know that there's going to be some decisions on your end that you're going to have to make, whether it's putting school on hold. And I'm not condoning or recommending anything. I'm just saying things that come along with the journey, because these are not untold stories. A lot of players in our league have these stories where they, put school on hold, or maybe they quit a job, or, different things of that nature. But it comes with it. And it has to be a personal decision within yourself and whoever your circle is. And you have to do what's best for you. But it's definitely, it just comes down to sacrifice and being dedicated to what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, I love that. And in my opinion, some of the best content that the league put out this past offseason was kind of shedding light on the stories behind these players off the sticks and their journey getting to the league. And I have so much admiration for each and every one of those guys and knowing what it kind of took to get to where they are right now. Let's actually continue to step aside from, the sticks and the 2K League space, if you will, and talk a little bit about the NetsGC organization and what they've been doing lately, within the community. First, the in-person NBA 2K tournament you were at, hosted by our friends over at Brookland. Talk a little bit about that.
Definitely. We've hosted 2 events at Brookland, located in Brooklyn, New York. Great partnership that we have there. Looking to do more, but right now we've been running a 1v1 2K tournaments. I haven't got the turnout that we've liked so far, but it's definitely been a great 2 tournaments. One back-to-back by a Giants fan. He's been dominant in those tournaments, but definitely it's a great venue. We're looking to have some in-person events as we see fit. It's been a monthly tournament, and like I said, it's really been dominated by Giants fan so far. But I enjoy them. I get to meet a lot of players from the community. some players I've known, some players I haven't. Meeting for the first time. 50 Clip, he was out there at our last tournament. JBM blessed us at the first tournament. Actually, he was defeated by actually both of those guys was defeated by a Giants fan in the tournament. So it made it pretty interesting. But yeah, over there at Brooklyn, it's great atmosphere. Of course, a ton of gaming inside of there. They actually have a stage platform already set up for 5v5. Some stuff that we're looking to do. Great food, everything like that. It's also ran through one of our other sponsors, Alpha Esports, and you know, in far as registration and different things like that. So it's something that we're looking to grow with. Of course, it's going to take time, especially you know some in-person events due to COVID and different things like that. Some players, you know, like to play in-person events, and then you have some who rather stay at home and play online. So it's a platform that we're developing. We're going to stay with it, and definitely going to be looking to do a lot of things over at Brooklyn, even during the season. So it's just been a fun time every time I go back.
I've obviously have never been, but just kind of seeing the pictures and the venue itself. I know growing up as a kid or as a teenager, I would have loved to have something like that in the area. So the fact that NetsGC is kind of, you know, continuing to support that is awesome. Before we let you go and wrap things up here, I also wanted to kind of talk about an appearance you made at a local high school or a high school in the area to help support Long Island gaming. Tell us a bit more about that and why it's important for you and NetsGC to kind of continue to support the youth.
Yeah, one of our you know, big things that we like to do at NetsGC is get out in the community and you know support schools and the community education, health and wellness, and all of that. And the perfect time we actually talked with Long Island Gaming, which is Mitchell Buckus and Dennis Buchanan. They actually partner with schools throughout the New York area. Some in you know, preferably like the Long Island area, and Wine Dance High School is where I actually got a chance to speak to some students that's in their esports program, and it was a great experience. We talked more than just gaming, talked about a lot of life and things of that nature, and that's more of my alley, especially me. Being, you know, a lot of people may or may not know about my background, but I was a high school basketball coach as well, and then also I was a manager at a group home. So a lot of my life has been dedicated to the youth. So I was in my element, so to speak, being able to go there and we'll be doing a lot more things like that involving Long Island gaming and things of that nature. But they do a good job. The kids were awesome. Definitely in tune. You know, of course, gaming, I always consider to be one of the perfect bonding agents between, you know, no matter their age, but especially reaching out to the youth, because a lot of them game. It doesn't matter male, you know, the young ladies, women, everybody has touched the controller here and there. So to be able to meet with those kids and talk a little life, some gaming, and give them some different avenues to think about far as career choices as they, you know, enter their high school career was important to me.
I love it, man. I think, like you said, one of the best ways to connect with the youth today through esports, through sports, through video games. It's still kind of trippy to kind of constantly see esports programs becoming more and more of a norm in school settings. That's just amazing to see. But I think that pretty much does it here for us on Off the Court with OG. Guys, it's gonna be another super exciting offseason in the NBA 2K League. It doesn't seem like too long ago when NetsGC was knocking on the door of the finals. Kurt, the team keeps setting new benchmarks every year, and we can't wait to see what's next, man. Thank you again for joining us on the show.
No problem. Keep doing a great job you're doing, Kristian. Now, before I get out of here, I just want to give a special shout out to Mr. Bruce Penn. He's the technology instructor at Wine Dance, who also allowed me to come over there and speak. So I just wanted to give him a shout out before I get out of here. But thank you, Chris.
While that concludes another episode of OTC with OG, a reminder to everyone that pre-draft is in full swing. There are countless leagues you can participate in, like UPA's WR League, MPBA, and of course the ADBA. And then on the flip side, there are numerous NBA 2K League affiliated tournaments where players can compete to earn draft and combine eligibility. One final reminder to follow at Nets Gaming Crew on all social platforms. I'm Kristian Charisma signing off, and this was Off the Court with OG.